Welcome to the Autistic Delicatessen.
What you eat, what you drink is your story.
The Autistic Delicatessen.
Let me tell you something. The food is great.
What you eat, what you drink is your story.
The Autistic Delicatessen.
Welcome to the Autistic Delicatessen. This is a special episode about food relief and humanitarian efforts. Giving back through food is the perfect way to bring people together, especially during these tough times of COVID-19. I'm Larnell, along with my co-host.
Onikage.
And also we have a good panel here that will talk about their food relief and humanitarian efforts.
On our food relief panel is Kaur from the non-profit United Sikhs UK chapter. United Sikhs is a UN-affiliated international non-profit humanitarian relief and advocacy organisation. We've previously talked to Grammeet in the first episode and focused on aid in mostly America and the East. This time, we are looking into the UK. Sun helps provide compassion for humanity and promotes helping others during COVID-19. One of the services United Sikhs has helped with is providing aid with transferring food to food banks, especially one in Derby.
And also on our panel is Kwabi from the Peace Bus, a non-profit mobile podcast, TV show, and humanitarian project. Kwabi wants to educate the community about topics that include peace, homelessness, poverty, and how we can all help each other. His van is a great tool to provide goods for his community. Providing a sense of giving, he provides peace with actions rather than just words. Kwabi has been providing cereal to children in need in the Tacoma area due to schools being closed during COVID-19.
Let me tell you something. The food is great.
So, Kwabi, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, you guys. It's been a pleasure to be invited, and I'm glad that I'm here. This is going to be awesome.
Oh, yes, most definitely. I agree with that. Yeah.
And also, Sun,
All right.
Welcome to the show as well.
Thank you for having me, and I look forward to our discussion today.
For Sun, I am aware that there are food banks located in the UK. What other services are provided in the UK for United Sikhs, not just food banks?
Okay, well, currently, obviously, during COVID, a lot of our team here are focusing on food banks, as well as, sending out parcels to the elderly. The reason we find this is so important is during COVID, many people are going to be struggling in the longer run, losing jobs, losing their sort of financial support. This is why, as a team, we thought that food banks is the best type of solution during these sort of turbulent times. Our team, in addition to that, have also been helping the National Health Service, known as the NHS here, by providing them with support of simple, could you say, acts of kindness, i.e. mentioning the loaves of bread earlier on. We donated bread to the nurses and the doctors at the local hospitals so that after their, say, 12 to even 16-hour shift, they're not having to wait in long supermarket queues to ensure that they can have that sort of toast and tea in the morning for breakfast. So there's a lot that's been happening here. There's also been food that's been provided to the NHS, in addition to now looking at further sort of aspects of the impact of COVID. Mentally, what is that doing to us as human beings? We seem to be trapped in these four walls for our own safety, but what is that doing to our own mental well-being? So that's another project that we're now looking to develop and looking into what we can do to support the community here.
Kwabi, on your end, I understand that along with having the Peace Bus, you also have the Breakfast Cereal Fund, doing like driving around the Tacoma area in the more impoverished areas and helping out families during this time to where schools are closed. So tell me how you got started with those type of efforts.
Yes, so COVID-19, what it is currently doing is exposing the problems that have been in our society for quite some time. That's what it's doing. It's just heightening what's been going on. So basically, in March, here in Tacoma, which is a smaller city near the Seattle region, for those who don't know, Seattle City, when in March, our governor closed local schools here. Just shut them down, right? Just, for safety precautions because of COVID-19.
Sure.
Rightfully so, it was a good action to take. But because of that, families in my area that rely on the school system for food and for sustenance for their kids weren't able to get it. Now, the local schools here in Tacoma, they have designated areas where people can come and get the food, similar to like a food bank. But what my concern was, what about the families who can't get to those places? What do they do? People who don't have cars, or people who are working all day and their kids are at home. What does that look like? And so I took it upon myself to try to bring food to them. I'm not a restaurant. I'm not a major organization. I don't have the right permits to transfer perishable food like Lunchables or something you have to refrigerate. But I got around it and realized through doing some research that I could transfer non-perishable food, non-perishable items like cereal and oatmeal, things like that. So that's how the Peace Bus Breakfast Fund started. And on May 22nd till now, I've been driving around the Tacoma City and in the morning delivering breakfast to families that need it. All they have to do is text me. I ask them their family size, their address, and then I meet them where they're at during the week, and I deliver cereal just like this. I got some cornflakes here. I got some pops here. These are just some of the basics.
That's really good, though.
Kwabi, I'm not being comical here, but what's been the favorite cereal?
Ooh, I guess the kids that I'm serving, they're just happy to have cereal. But I've had some requests, and Captain Crunch has been number one.
That's nice to know.
That's just fantastic to hear. For both of you, what you do, whether it's a group or community, it doesn't matter where it is around the world. It's all for compassion and humanity. You guys focus on humanity, community, helping those in need, especially with food, which is important. Especially how we need this more than ever. And I just think it's a fantastic thing you two are doing.
Yeah. I would even go on more to say that food is the most important thing. Without sustenance, you can't go about living a life. So food, clothes, and shelter are essentials. It's essentials because without these things, you're merely surviving. You're not living. And so making sure that people, that's what I was saying, COVID-19 is exposing these issues, because why, I've served over 230 families in the Tacoma area. 230 families in a span of a month and a half, and 230 families are relying on the school system for food. The school system? It's interesting. Why is that a thing? Why don't they have food normally?
Yeah.
That has happened in the UK in the past with primary schools or high schools. A lot of the ones that are in poverty had to rely on food from the schools because when I was in high school, there was a thing, if you were low income, you can get a certain amount of money so you can get something to eat. It is a bit worrying when kids rely on the school more than at home. It is a scary thing to think about.
Yeah.
I was going to mention there that, sorry, Omi, you mentioned that it's a fantastic thing that we are doing, but, from a faith perspective, as Sikhs, the Sikh faith, we are kind of, what could you say, expected to be assisting where we can, serving humanity. It's what we do. This organization has been running for 20 plus years doing just that. So I think if we were to now be asleep during a time of crisis, it would be very wrong of us, because we are expected to serve humanity as a whole. It doesn't matter what community we are, what faith background we are. It's an act of service. It's a duty, could we say, a humanitarian, to be helping your neighbor, to be helping your friends or your family. So that's just something I wanted to say, that as soon as we see a red light somewhere, whether it's an earthquake or hurricanes across the world, this is the first thing we do as an organization, is see how we can help those in need.
Yeah. And really, Kawabi, when I go to you, one of the things about you starting the Peace Bus was really all about humanity. Can you tell us how that kind of started you on your journey of peace and humanitarianism?
Yeah, man, I'd love to talk about that. I guess what sparked the whole idea of helping others I was challenged by a professor of mine when I was in grad school. And he said to me, I wasn't doing well in class. And he said, Kwabi, what you need to do is you need to get by yourself. You need to ask yourself, who do you want to be as a person? Not what. I mean, you could be a lawyer, you could be a doctor, all these different things. But besides the point, who do you want to be, right? And I thought to myself, well, say I strip all my identities from myself, which it's important to know your identity, know who you are. But say I didn't have them. Say I was born a white woman in Milwaukee instead of an African-American man born here in Tacoma, Washington, these sort of things. At the least, in my core, I would want to see peace, right? That's like that's the thing I want to see in the world and in myself. And I started researching modern peace activists. Now, I'm very grateful and very aware of the work of Martin Luther King and Gandhi, these figures, these people. But who's doing this sort of thing now? Prominent leaders. And so I started researching. I came across this guy named Brian Haw. I don't know if you guys have heard of this dude, but he was a peace campaigner from London, England, and he campaigned for peace outside of Parliament Square for 11 years. And he was an awesome dude. Just pretty much was big on the aspect of humanity. I was inspired by him, and I started going to my local park. It's called Wrights Park. It's actually right down my street from my apartment. And I brought these posters. I have my posters with me. Hey, that's cool. So this one right here, this was like 2017. It says, love, peace, and justice for all. I was out in the park. I started having conversations with people at the park about peace and what it meant to them, having a dialogue about the subject. I mean, I still don't see myself as an expert on the aspect of peace. I'm learning. It's an educational thing, you know? And then I started traveling the world with these posters, asking the same question to random folks, asking, what does peace mean to you? And then we'd have a conversation. And all of this was an educational platform for myself to understand what it means to be peaceful. And when I came back home, that's when like the news was getting involved and understanding what the peace movement I was doing was all about. And that's when I actually started taking flight lessons. I wanted to be the first person to circumnavigate the globe in promotion of world peace, which is nuts. It's very expensive to take flight lessons. Yes, so I settled for the peace bus. I don't want to say settled. I transferred my efforts of an airplane to the bus, and I started using the bus to deliver, I call it local humanitarian aid, if that's a coined term, I don't know. But basically, oftentimes we have this idea of humanitarian aid being someplace far off, you know, Africa or Southeast Asia, which that is humanitarian aid, but people need help right here in our communities. And so I started delivering out socks and doing that for people who were experiencing homelessness in Tacoma. And now we're doing cereal. Yeah.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you there. I think, you know, from a humanitarian aid organization, it's not about, you know, third world countries that we need to support. And don't get me wrong, we have to support them. But even helping your neighbor with their groceries in the morning is right now a big deal.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah. On a more positive note for both of you, what's your favorite food?
I think if we're having a cheat day, it has to be a margarita pizza. To the point that the cheese is so heavy. But it's very rare. However, I must mention, last night the local pizza company sent me a free pizza. And on top of the pizza box, it said, thank you for helping the NHS, Miss Kaur. And it really touched my heart because I thought, wow, although we don't do this to, you know, receive any award, just something as small as that really made my day. But if it's a healthy option, I think something like quinoa and, you know, some great salad with it is one of my favorite dishes because I believe we've got to keep our bodies healthy if we want to carry on serving, you know, humanity how and where we can.
Yeah, and really, before we get to Kwabi, to you, son, you know, that's really like one of the tenets, one of the main tenets of Sikhism, even following the principles of Guru Nanak, who you like, learn from in your religion.
Yes, yeah, correct. So obviously right now as well, you know, our first Guru Nanak Sahib, the world is singing his praises right now because the message he gave was to serve humanity, whether it's the simple step, like I said, by helping your neighbor or assisting globally, just like we are at the moment. You may have seen in the news where United Sikhs have been serving heavily in New York City, which is a city right now that is on fire. So these are our core principles, that everything we do it with compassion. We always have that positive mindset, no matter how much of a fire, could we say, that we are being dragged through. You need to have that sort of mindset that we are going to get through this, and we're going to get through this, and we're going to become stronger, as a global family.
Mm-hmm. All right,
That's
Kwabi,
cool.
what's your favorite food?
Cereal.
Yeah, probably like you said cereal.
It could be
No.
anything.
Some Lucky Charms behind him.
Oh, Lucky
Oh,
Charms.
okay.
Oh, no. Well, this right here is a
Oh.
picture of me holding some Raisin Bran. But honestly, my favorite food is a good, delicious, juicy pear. Like if I can get because a lot of pears I feel like are hit and miss. But if you can get the right one that's kind of sweet and it has a lot of juice to it, oh my goodness, you can't get any better than that, man.
Yeah,
Wow.
that was an interesting answer, Kwabi. I didn't expect
Yeah, I
wow,
love
like a
pears,
juicy
man.
pear.
Pears are great.
Yeah, I'm sure Son is liking that. Like I'll just have it along with my quinoa and all that stuff. So
I think I'm more of a banana person.
I don't like bananas. They don't do it for me. I don't know. I don't like them.
Oh, well, not for everyone. So what can you do?
yes.
What's your favorite cereal?
Oh, favorite cereal of all time is Cinnamon Toast Crunch. To be honest, I don't have cereal often. People have actually gotten on me recently because the cereal, a lot of cereal is not really that good for you. It's pretty sugary. But I guess my response to that is it is. So we talk about humanitarian aid. The cereal fund won't be forever. It's going to be till the mid-June when school would be out. So I'm supplying what I can. The cereal's what I have. I try to get more healthy approaches. Right here, I have Kashi. It's more of a healthier brand of cereal. So I've been doing that, I guess, trying to bring out as much nutrition as I can. But yeah, Cinnamon Toast Crunch is my favorite cereal. It's fantastic. It tastes amazing.
It
Yes,
sounds good.
yes. Doing these humanitarian efforts, because I know for Son it's more of like a spiritual, religious effort, and then for Kwabi it's more humanitarian. What have been the biggest lessons, even during this time of COVID, for yourselves that you have learned from being able to give back, to food in these like tough times that we're living in?
I think the biggest lesson for myself, number one, I think, we live in such a busy world, and COVID has really taught us to understand how to live more in the moment, to understand that there's loved ones around us, to appreciate everybody around us, and as well as that, understanding that whilst everybody is locked in, the earth is repairing itself. You're probably all witnessing the beautiful sunsets right now and the fresher, cleaner air. So that's something that's been quite sort of nice to see. And I hope that once this whole sort of lockdown is over, that we understand that we need to look after Mother Earth. Secondly, I think from a humanitarian aid perspective as well is, again, just understanding that it's important that we appreciate everything we have around us. And there's people out there less fortunate, and we should, however we can, try and provide that little spark of hope into their lives. Like now, Kwabi's providing cereal, but we don't understand how that cereal is making somebody so happy, having that hope that they will get, I know, a bowl of Kellogg's cornflakes in the morning. It's just that spark of happiness that we're able to provide. And I think that's something that's made me want to do what we do at the organization, is knowing that even if it's a small act of kindness, we've changed somebody's life in some way and we've made them smile. And I think that's so important.
I agree.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
I'd say for myself, the most important thing that I'm taking away from this are the gaps. Like I explained before, the gaps in our societal framework that we see, we know, but we don't necessarily act on to try to fix. 1 in 6 children here in Washington State are experiencing hunger. 1 in 9 individuals in Seattle, Washington are homeless. These are issues that need to be in the forefront. And through this COVID virus, it's been a discussion. Now, when COVID is over and we've moved from it, will these same discussions be put into the forefront of the headlines? That's my question. Will we learn, like Sun was saying, the environment, will that be a discussion in the forefront after COVID is over? That's what I want to know. And hopefully through what we've learned during these trying times will be something that we actually move forward with and try to repair. That's what I think. That's what I'm learning.
Because these type of things like need to like still be in people's consciousness to where it's not just during like a pandemic that we're in right now or disaster relief, but really in anything, and it's really upon us that we continue to have that in people's consciousness.
Yeah, I agree. So like we take food, for example. Everyone loves food. I mean, so much, in fact, that when you go to eat dinner, you take a picture of it. But how do we use that, right? This love for food and make sure that everyone can have it, right?
Yeah.
The government can do it, right? But say the government doesn't want to get involved in the effort of humanitarian aid, making sure that every human being has food. I think we can do it as people. I think individuals like ourselves, we can take it upon ourselves, no matter what, where we come from or what we look like, to help humanity, like Sun was saying. I think it's an obligation that we have as human beings, hence the term humanitarian aid, trying to see what you can do to help a fellow human being.
Yeah, so let's all become superheroes without capes and, help those who need our support. Everybody can be a superhero in one way or another. And going back to climate change and Mother Nature right now, we could also wrap this up and say that it almost feels as though Mother Nature has grounded her children, meaning us, and said, stay at home, kids, because now I'm going to fix the mess that you've created. It's almost as if she's tidying up the planet.
And actually, Son, to what you're saying is that, like, I remember watching like a Vice news piece, and they were saying how like the climate has been shifting to where the ozone layer has not been affected because of the COVID-19 stuff and all stuff, which is very interesting. So, yeah. How should people be able to help donate to the Organization of United Sikhs?
Yes, so Lionel, they can contact us through our website, www.unitedsikhs.org. You can email us at contact@unitedsikhs.org, or even, search us through our social media platforms. If we don't get back to you straight away, it is because we are extremely busy right now. But I'm sure there'll be a point of contact who will be in touch. And, thank you so much for this support. And I thank, everybody who's supporting us to, allow us to do this work.
Kwabi, how should people support your breakfast cereal fund at this time?
I want to thank Sun for what you're doing. It's amazing. It's really good work you're doing, and I hope that we can also link up. Yeah, no problem. I hope we can link up after this discussion. But the best way for people to donate to the Peace Bus or to get involved, add me on Instagram, the Peace Bus. Everything's there on Instagram. If you're looking to donate, it's on Instagram. If you're looking to know where the Peace Bus is going next, add me on Instagram. It's the best way.
Thank you both for being a part of this special food relief episode of the Autistic Delicatessen. And I really hope, like, when people watch this, they can donate to your organizations. Because right now, like, more than anything, we need to just, like, come together and help in any way we can.
Yes, yeah. Superheroes.
Yes,
Yeah.
superheroes, yes.
Superheroes.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so
Let me tell you
much.
something. The food is great.
And thank you for watching this special food relief episode of the Autistic Delicatessen. If you want to know more about our show, please go on to the autisticdelicatessen.card.co. It's right at the bottom where you can see.
If you enjoyed this content, feel free to subscribe for future videos.
And until next time,
What you eat, what you drink is your story.